My wife cheated with my estranged sister, hid the baby for 7 months, then tried to sue me for $1,800 a month in child support. I hadn't spoken to my sister in 9 years when my wife invited her over for dinner. I came home from work and there she was, Megan, sitting at my kitchen table, laughing with my wife like they were best friends. My chest tightened the moment I saw her. Time hadn't changed much. Same smug smirk, same sharp tongue, same fake sweetness that fooled everyone but me. I didn't say anything. I didn't want to cause a scene. My wife Allison waved me over with a bright smile, like nothing was wrong. "Look who I ran into at the bookstore," she chirped. "We got to talking and I just thought, why not try to reconnect?" Reconnect? With the woman who got me kicked out of the house when I was 17? Megan had always been the golden child. She could do no wrong. I was the problem. The one with the attitude. The one who never appreciated what he had. She stole from our parents, lied about it, blamed me, and they believed her. Every damn time. When I finally left, I swore I was done. No calls, no visits, nothing. And for almost a decade I kept that promise. Then, without asking, my wife went and opened the door I had nailed shut. I pulled her aside after dinner, trying to keep my voice level. "Why would you do that?" "She seemed nice," Allison said, shrugging. "I didn't know it was that serious." That serious? I almost ended up homeless because of Megan. I worked 2 jobs just to finish high school. And now she was sipping tea in my kitchen like it never happened. But Allison was persistent. "Maybe she's changed. Maybe you both have." That's the thing about trauma. It makes you doubt your own memory. Makes you wonder if maybe you were the problem. And when the person you love, the one who knows you better than anyone, tells you to give it a chance, you start to wonder if maybe she's right. So I did. I gave it a chance. Megan started coming by more often. Always bringing little gifts. Always praising Allison's cooking. They bonded fast. Too fast. Sometimes I'd come home and find them deep in conversation on the couch. Wine glasses half full, like they'd known each other for years. At first I was just uncomfortable. Then I got paranoid. I started noticing things. Whispered conversations that stopped when I walked into the room. A sudden shift in Allison's demeanor. Colder, more critical. And Megan? She looked too comfortable, like she was staking a claim. Still, I said nothing. Because I didn't want to be that guy. The jealous, paranoid husband. Besides, they were sisters-in-law now, right? Maybe this was a good thing. Maybe they were both trying to fix what I couldn't. Then one night I came home late from a work event. The house was dark. Allison had left a note on the counter. "Went for a walk with Megan, be back soon." It was almost midnight. Something inside me snapped. I waited. 1 hour, 2. Finally I texted her. "Where are you?" No response. They came back around 2 a.m., giggling like teenagers. I pretended to be asleep, but I heard them whispering in the kitchen. I heard my name. The next morning, Allison acted like everything was normal. Kissed me on the cheek, made me coffee. And I wanted to believe her. I needed to believe her. Until the photo. 3 days later, I was looking for batteries in the junk drawer when I found it. A small photo tucked between manuals and old receipts. A baby picture. Not just any baby. A newborn. Wrapped in a striped hospital blanket, dated 7 months ago. I stared at the date. Did the math. 7 months ago, Allison had told me she was staying at her mother's for a week. Said she needed space. Said I was too tense lately. I never asked questions. I never thought to. Until now. At first, I told myself it couldn't be hers. Maybe Megan had a kid. Maybe it was someone else's photo. But the more I stared at that baby's face, the more I realized. He looked like me. Same nose, same chin. That faint birthmark under the left eye? I have the exact same one. And the date on the back matched perfectly with the week Allison had disappeared to clear her head. My hands were shaking. I waited until Allison got home from the grocery store. She walked in humming like nothing had changed. I held up the photo. She stopped mid-step. Her eyes darted from the picture to my face, then back again. "Where did you find that?" I didn't answer. "What is this?" I asked, my voice calm. Too calm. She didn't respond right away. Just set the bags down and took a long breath. Then she said the one thing that flipped my world inside out. It's not what you think. It always starts like that, doesn't it? I was going to tell you, she said. I didn't know how. Whose baby is this? I asked. Silence. Allison. She looked at the floor. Mine. I didn't feel angry. I didn't even feel shocked. Just this numb hollowness, like my entire body had gone underwater. And the father? I said, though I already knew. She didn't say it. She didn't have to. I walked out of the house that night and drove aimlessly for hours. I ended up at a gas station on the edge of town, sitting in my car, staring at the empty road ahead. That's when everything began to unravel. The sudden coldness, the long walks, the phone turned face down. Megan moved to our neighborhood, coincidentally. I'd been playing, methodically, strategically, betrayed not just by my wife, but by my own sister. They'd planned this. The next morning I called my lawyer. I didn't confront Megan. I didn't give Allison another chance to explain. There was nothing left to say. I filed for divorce, moved in with a friend temporarily, and started separating our finances. That's when the backlash started. Allison texted me nonstop. Can we talk? I made a mistake. He means nothing to me. Funny, he meant enough to have his baby. Megan, on the other hand, was silent. Until she wasn't. 1 week later, I got a call from my mother. Why are you doing this to your sister? She snapped before I could say hello. That's when it hit me. They knew. They all knew. She's your blood, my mother said. You're acting like she murdered someone. No, I said. She just destroyed my marriage. She made a mistake, she snapped. But you're blowing this out of proportion. That baby doesn't even have a father now, and you're out here playing the victim? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My own mother, who barely spoke to me growing up, who ignored Megan's lies and called me too sensitive, was now calling me the villain for refusing to co-parent my sister's child with my soon-to-be ex-wife. I hung up. I blocked them all. But just like clockwork, the guilt train rolled in. Allison's family reached out next. Her aunt called me and said I needed to be a man and at least provide child support. For Megan's baby? No, she said like I was stupid. For your wife's. I had to laugh at that. She wasn't even legally my wife anymore. And she certainly wasn't acting like one when she was sleeping with my sister behind my back. The next week I got served papers. Allison had filed for partial spousal support. Megan had moved in with her. They were both unemployed. And now somehow, I was responsible for their financial well-being. All because I'd worked hard, kept my head down, and built a stable life. That was the moment I decided I wasn't just going to walk away. I was going to fight. If they wanted a war, I'd give them one. I wasn't rich. But I was stable, salaried, smart with my money, and thankfully, I had records of everything. That's what saved me. First thing I did was retain a new lawyer. One that didn't just want to settle quietly, but one who saw what I saw. A coordinated attack dressed up as a sob story. I handed her every document I had, Allison's bank statements, my call logs, screenshots of texts, even the baby photo. I gave her names of mutual friends, old neighbors, co-workers, anyone who might have seen what was going on behind the scenes. She didn't blink. This, she said, flipping through Megan's laughably padded affidavit, is a shakedown attempt. Let's handle it like one. It felt like the first breath I'd taken in weeks. From there, I started pulling threads. I contacted an old mutual friend, Danny, who used to be close with both me and Allison back when we first got married. We hadn't spoken in a while, but when I told her what happened, she didn't hesitate. Oh my God, she said. She lied to you. I knew something was off when Megan started showing up everywhere with her. They were like, inseparable overnight. I remember asking Allison about it and she just brushed it off. Would you be willing to make a statement? She agreed without pause. So did two of my co-workers, who had witnessed my breakdown at work the week I found the baby photo. I hadn't told them everything, but apparently, my face said enough. My lawyer gathered it all, witness testimonies, financial documents, timelines, and assembled it into a tight, brutal narrative. Meanwhile, Allison was busy on social media, painting me as the bitter ex-husband who abandoned her while she was pregnant. Of course, she never mentioned whose baby it was. Her posts got likes, sympathy, DMs from men offering to take care of her. She played the victim masterfully. Until I made my move. I didn't post anything. I didn't write a tell-all. I just leaked a photo. That photo. The one of the babies. With the date written clearly on the back. I sent it to one person, a former mutual friend of ours who happened to run a fairly popular local blog. I didn't say a word. Just attached the photo with a subject line. She said it was mine. Within 24 hours, the blog posted a vague but devastating takedown about a local couple and a sibling betrayal scandal. Names weren't mentioned, but those who knew us, they knew. And just like that, the comments on Allison's page changed. No more sympathy, just questions, doubt. People asking, was it true? Allison deactivated her account 2 days later. Megan, ever the manipulator, tried to take control next. She showed up at my apartment uninvited, standing in the hallway with a fake soft voice and a blanket-wrapped baby in her arms. I thought maybe you'd want to meet him, she said. I didn't even open the door, just looked at her through the peephole and said, tell your sister she should have picked a better co-conspirator. The baby cried. Megan sniffled. I shut the door. The court date finally came 3 weeks later. Allison looked tired. Megan wasn't there. Maybe she knew better. My lawyer dismantled their case piece by piece. No proof of abuse, no shared finances for months prior to separation. No justification for spousal support, especially when Allison had voluntarily quit her job before I moved out. When we played the timeline of the baby's birth against the week she'd gone to her mom's, the judge raised an eyebrow. When Danny testified about seeing Allison and Megan behaving like more than just friends during the pregnancy, the judge asked to review the statements twice. And when I submitted the photo, with the timestamp metadata intact and hospital details visible, it was over. The judge didn't just dismiss her claim for spousal support. He issued a formal statement of concern about collusion between Allison and Megan to extract money under false pretenses. There wasn't enough for criminal charges, but it was enough to bar any future financial requests. And for the first time since the betrayal, I saw Allison crack. She cried, not because she was sorry, because the game was over. 3 days after the hearing, I got a text from my father. We need to talk. I hadn't heard from him in nearly 6 years. Not since I refused to help Megan out of a DUI charge she got in college, one my parents tried to cover up with hush money. Back then they called me heartless. Said I didn't understand family loyalty. That was the last time I let myself care what they thought. Now, suddenly, he wanted to talk. I didn't reply. The next morning my mother called from a blocked number. You've made things worse than they ever had to be, she said coldly. I almost laughed. Worse? As if I'd written this mess. As if I was the one who crossed the lines they'd drawn in blood and labeled family. Megan's devastated, she continued. You're her brother. No, I said, my voice steady. I was her mark. She hung up. That night, I came home and found a letter taped to my door. It was from Megan. Written by hand, sloppy and rushed. Apologies disguised as excuses. She said she missed our childhood bond, what little we had. That Allison had manipulated her too. That she didn't mean for things to spiral this far. She ended the letter with one sentence. He still needs an uncle. I didn't sleep that night. I kept thinking about that line, about the audacity, about how these people weaponize blood, guilt and memory like it was currency, assuming that one day I'd crack under the weight of it. And part of me almost did. But the thing about betrayal is that it doesn't just break trust. It burns the map back to who you used to be. The next day, I drove out to my parents' house. The same one I'd left as a teenager, dragging a garbage bag full of clothes behind me while Megan cried fake tears on the porch. I didn't tell them I was coming. I wanted the element of surprise. They opened the door as a united front. My father's arms crossed, my mother wearing that fake composed smile she always put on when company arrived. What are you doing here? She asked. I held up the letter. This ends today. My mother looked confused. My father looked annoyed. You think cutting everyone off makes you righteous? He snapped. You think success makes you immune to family? I think surviving you people makes me free, I said. And I'm not going to let you circle back into my life just because things didn't go the way you planned. You're being childish, my mother hissed. No, I said. I'm finally being a man. One who doesn't tolerate abuse disguised as obligation. That's when Megan came downstairs. Hair messy, eyes tired, holding the baby on her hip. Her face softened when she saw me. You came, she whispered. I looked at her. Really looked at her. And for the first time, I saw her clearly. Not as the cunning sister who always got her way, but as a scared little girl who'd grown into a woman that didn't know how to love anyone without destroying them first. Thanks for watching and diving into this wild family drama with me. If you love Reddit family drama, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next one.